Kreskin. Do I have to say the Amazing Kreskin? And this being another week of what's on my mind, I want to share with you something that I think you're going to find, especially my final remarks, rather intriguing and revealing. I wrote months ago that if something captured our country, not thinking of the world and not thinking of the disease that killed so many, many innocent people, that there could be after effects if it sustained itself for a longer period of time. This is before I even knew about the disease. Who dreamt that we were hit with the disease and we were paralyzed, sequestered for almost 2 months? And my warning was, if it lasted 2 or more months, then we would have other repercussions. No, I did not foresee the killing by the police of the individual. I did not predict anything of that. I don't think anyone knew what could take place that would be used as an opportunity. We needed a break. You can't house people. One of the greatest mistakes I think the future will prove in writers and analysts was sequestering and putting people in a jail, home, closed doors for almost 2 months. The psychology, the suicides that are now taking place is something that had to be anticipated, and the children never should be kept out of school. But the bottom line is, who would have thought that it would become a situation open because of the killing of the individual to riots and what have you? It opened the door for chemistry. First, those of us who were sequestered a long time, that should have been outside, like myself, I made sure that I ran 20 minutes every day, all through those months, as I've done for 40, 50 years. But the breathing of the fresh air, the openness, it gave an opportunity for people to vent and get rid of the tension building up. The second are the organized people who have an aim in sight, a crusade. I'm not strictly speaking of Black lives and so forth. I'm talking about the multiple things, because these riots are not based on one issue, not in any way, shape, or form. But that was the second opportunity for this chemistry to come together. The third was an unexpected, really evil area, and that was organized crime. You see our leaders, our guardians, our mayors, and our different heads of state decided to protect them, to release from prison individuals who were sentenced to prison for the commission of crimes. It was for their own health and security. And in doing so, they threatened our health and security. Because just look at last weekend, the amount of murders and killings that took place in just Chicago, the highest number we can even remember. It is out of control. But these three combinations gave a multitude of opportunities for chaos, violence, and irresponsible protests, which was not what was originally meant. We have a right as American citizens to protest. Look at the example, a further example. The gentleman, what is he, in his 70s in Amherst. He's from Amherst, but in Buffalo, New York. He was pushed by the police, and this gentleman fell backwards. The back of his head hit the concrete. The gentleman, by the way, and you can go on the internet, this is not my opinion, has appeared in scores and scores and scores through the years of protests. He was even protested by some of the women that were there that said, no, you came here with an agenda, you're not really being straightforward about this, and they were arguing what have you. It almost seemed like he wanted to be hit or punched, but he fell backwards, tragically so, and so forth. And that scene has been seen by over 67 million people. You couldn't buy that if you hired the best PR firm in the world. Oh, by the way, it's come out, and we've had it personally confirmed by speaking to the right people, that the blood by him, plus the little box and so forth, was filled with fake blood, he handled this very, very well. It isn't that he was looking for a crisis situation. He was looking to create the crisis situation. And then, and by the way, we would be very naive not to realize that thousands of people in these riots are being paid and financed. Oh, incidentally, and we know this from direct contact with this gentleman, people have been out of work in Las Vegas for a number of months, and the organizations that are handling the riots and paying for them, spending millions of dollars. This gentleman received this alert titled Crisis Actors for Event, Las Vegas area, Memorial Day weekend, except when he spoke to them and they offered to hire him. They didn't want it for Las Vegas. They wanted to fly him to some other part of the country where they were planning a riotous riot with violence involved. He was to stand in the front, and they told him he would have all his expenses paid, the flights, the hotels, the food. If there were legal problems, they would pay for the legal problems. And that was, he turned it down, of course, but not everybody of the thousands that have been hired have turned down the offer. My advice, as we find more and more the desire to put police out of the way, aside from everything else, my advice to you folks is, listen, if you're living at home, make sure you have some security. All the more so if you're alone. I'll see you next week. Be the good Lord willing.